Hey, I'm Grant. Welcome to Digression Bar 31. I'm joined by...
I'm Ellie.
Ellie, what's up?
I'm just home for Thanksgiving, so yeah.
It's been, when's the last podcast you've been on? I feel like it hasn't been that long, for once.
I think maybe, did we do one at the end of the summer? Maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I think we did 2 in a row, and that's why it feels closer, because I think there was one we did like back to back. We filmed it so that I could get them out like one after the other. Because I feel like it's nice to have like a rotating cast, just to like have time for people to like do stuff in between podcasts.
Yeah.
So whereas if it's just like every weekend, like tell me what you're doing in your life and make it interesting, that's a little bit hard. So, but you're back from the fires of California.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? Because you keep mentioning it's really smoky over there.
Yeah, so I actually flew home early because it was very smoky. They canceled classes. And yeah, it's just really smoky, like outside.
Is it just like a smog or like what?
Yeah, it's basically like, it looks like it's foggy outside, but it's not fog, it's smoke. And then it's just like you're in a giant campfire all the time.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what it is, right?
Yeah.
You're downwind from a giant forest fire, campfire.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the air is really unhealthy, so.
Well, I imagine it's just
you have to wear a mask and stuff if you go outside.
So you came back home to Nebraska. Pretty fun. So Thanksgiving is 2 days from now. I'm cooking the turkey. I have everything prepped, I think. I'm taking over the turkey for our mother. And my goal for that is I volunteered because I don't want to be stuck cooking all of Thanksgiving, like sometime in the future, and not have that experience. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my time in. I'm going to learn how to cook just the turkey, focus on that, make sure I don't do any of the newbie mistakes. Like I know everyone at work was like, okay, remember, you already thought it, right? I'm like, yes. And you know about like the giblets inside. You need to take those out. Like, yes. It's like, and how are you going to transfer? Like, yes. And I know my cooker's like, there's a hotline you can call if you're having issues. Because I guess one of the companies that does it, it's like they have this like open hotline. If you have questions, they'll answer them and like all this stuff. So, but it's like intimidating because it's such a huge thing to cook.
Yeah.
You can only cook it like once a year. And that was the big thing. Is like, I could always just cook a turkey elsewhere for practice, but I can't cook like, I don't know how big this one is. Like it's big.
It's like a 23 pound turkey.
It's like 23 pounds of turkey. You can't just do that like in July. Yeah. You know, you need to have a way to use this meat. And before, like my mom asked if I wanted to, I was like, maybe should I just get like a small turkey and just have like people over just to like try it? Because I want to be able to cook those things and know how hard certain ones are before I need to do it. Plus, then I feel like that will give me like a good base. We're starting off to like a very strong start. I don't know, you wouldn't have seen this because I haven't put out this podcast until last week's podcast until literally right now it's uploading because I had issues with my hard drive. But all we did was talk about food and like pizza for the entire time, and it's just like try to avoid that. But that's what I'm doing over Thanksgiving is cooking a turkey.
I made crescent rolls because I'm also helping our mom cook. Yeah. And I made crescent rolls, and tomorrow we're gonna make pretzels.
So what's a crescent roll? Is that different than I thought you meant cinnamon rolls? Or is it like a croissant?
Crescent rolls are like, I guess kind of, I don't really know. I think croissants are more flaky, and crescent rolls are just more dinner rolls. Okay. But we made them from scratch, so.
Nice. I feel like making good bread is so hard.
Like we had to use yeast, and I was like, oh my gosh, this smells like alcohol, which makes sense. But the yeast was really smelly, like really smelly. Well, because when it rises, it's putting out gas, right? Yeah. So you smell it. And then after it rose, I guess in the directions, you're supposed to like punch it. Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's so fun. It was fun.
Did you have to knead it at all? Yeah. I know I was trying to talk to like Andrew about that, like. I was like, I did the whole thing where I like hit it and it's like the thing stuck. He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, I swear it's a thing. You have to punch it to see if it's done. Yeah. And he's like, no, I don't think so. I had fun. I've never made bread from scratch. Like we made banana bread before, but it wasn't like you didn't use yeast in it or let it rise or anything. I feel like it's definitely a classic, easy to learn, hard to master. Like I can make bread, but it just ends up being this like dough, it's always doughy, but like hard roll thing, even if I cook it in like a loaf pan. Well, so it's not like sandwich bread, but it's like, it's bread. Well, I know like when we were making it, the directions were like, okay, you put so much flour in, and then just add as much extra flour as you need until it gets to this consistency, and that's like hard because it's not an exact measurement. Yeah. I don't know. And our mom knew how much to put in, but I was like, I don't know. And any guide is just kind of like, just kind of feel it out. And when I was talking about like last week, it's like, did I need it too much? Did I need it too little? There's a whole thing about, was it sugar to salt? Because I guess sugar makes it grow faster, salt makes it go slower, but there's a difference between just not feeding it enough versus like slowing it down with more salt. It's a whole thing. But then also like I don't want to have like really high calorie bread, so I don't want to use like just a ridiculous amount of sugar if I don't need to. Because that's what I've seen so many recipes. Like there's a recipe of pumpkin bread Jamie likes, where every time I make it, it's like just cups and cups of sugar, and you don't know because it just dissolves. It doesn't add any mass because it's all just like crystallized and just melts. I guess dissolves. So I'm trying not to just be like do that where it's just butter and sugar. But yeah, bread's so hard. Like, but I wanted to learn how to make those. Like we were talking on the last week podcast, but I want to learn how to make buns specifically, like a Kaiser roll or a I forgot the other one, but also like a hoagie, for example, and be able to make like, okay, I want to make a really hard outer shell but soft on the inside, so I can like hollow it out and make like a filly. You can like, really hold shut. I feel like if you could master like that's like the icing on the cake for like making a burger. Is if you like I have my own like rolls that are custom built, custom baked to go with this sandwich. So I'm definitely into all that stuff, and I want to do more, but it's like hard because you like never have that reason to make that, because I never cook that for myself because it's super involved. Yeah. So when I feel like you have something like Thanksgiving, you need to like jump on that, be like, I need to try new things. So hoping, and maybe next year I'll do more. Or I still like the idea of like trying to cook like a mini Thanksgiving just for friends or something. Like, I think I might have mentioned this on the podcast before, but there's one thing I've always wanted to do for D&D. There's a very famous campaign called like Curse of Strahd in D&D. And it's all about just like this big evil vampire. And I guess there's a scene in it where you have to like eat with him. And I want to make like a really like intense, I don't want to say authentic, but like Game of Thrones-esque meal where it's like really nice, like turkey legs, giant ham, a really amazing like meat pie, all these stuff that would be like, I guess kind of at the time for a noble basically in like that setting. But you're still like kind of playing D&D at the dinner table or something like super weird, but like it would give me an excuse to make these crazy foods. Yeah. So, or like I know like I always would love the idea of like having people come over to watch like say Game of Thrones or something and making a food from that, because I know like I've seen plenty of places that are like, here's a recipe from Game of Thrones because it's like an actual recipe, or like the same with that for like Harry Potter. I feel like that might be too eccentric because I just want to make like really good food. I don't want to make like some eccentric crazy candy like because that's what Harry Potter would be. But I really like the idea of doing that. So maybe one day. I just need to get like the base for all that. Also, I just need a bigger kitchen. Like that's the hard thing. So I feel like I can handle a turkey. It's going to take up my entire oven, but I feel like I can handle that. So that's going to take up like the next 2 days of my time to make and then eat. And I have to somehow like transport it. I think that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I could have all this and I just have to get it like a couple miles that way without anything going wrong. So I'm hoping I have things planned, redundancies. So should be good. Should be good. So yeah, I'm just thinking about it all now, like all things that could go wrong. It's just like, you know, because I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, I didn't thaw it, or something like that, where it's like there's no coming back from that kind of thing. So, or like I have a coworker, she like, they just like have a live turkey and they're just like prepping it right now. And, like that's such another level beyond what I'm doing, and it's just like crazy. So I don't know. That's a whole thing. Ellie, what else are you up to? Playing anything interesting?
So I've been playing Spyro and also RuneScape.
Yeah. You want to talk about Spyro?
Yeah, so I'm not too far into it yet, but it's fun. It's very nostalgic.
Yeah, talking about the Spyro remaster that just came out on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm still on the first game, so. But yeah, it's really fun. I actually think that it's, like I know one time you mentioned that you thought the graphics like looked a little weird, but I think playing it, they look really good. They look really fitting.
I've been like trying not to read too much up on it, which is weird because I know exactly what happens. You know, it's a remaster. Yeah. But I want to be kind of like surprised by some of the stuff. I know some people mentioned that it's overall fine. One of the things that is really hard is apparently it's really hard to find some gems. Like if you just have one gem that is just lost, it can be really hard to find because it's like instead of being just, you know, on flat green polygons and it's red, it's like in a bush now.
Yeah, I actually have had a few gems where I had to kind of look around for them. Although I have to say, so they remastered all the dragons and their cutscenes. Grand.
Is that good or bad?
Some of those dragons are so handsome. Like
that was not what I was going to expect.
I know.
I've only seen the crazy ones.
Wait until you see like the first dragon that you talk to in the Artisans world. Like.
Oh well, Ellie, you haven't finished the game. You see him 3 times. You know, you see him once he's the first dragon. He's the one right before when you enter the very last world, and then he's after you beat Nasty.
Well, okay, some of these dragons are in very good shape. Okay. For
a dragon, okay.
Not all of them, but I'm just saying when you when you play it, I want your opinion on it because some of them are very handsome.
Well, I mean this in the best way, but for me to play it, you have to leave.
Yeah,
because it's on your Xbox. Yeah. So, but really, because I've only seen like really crazy eccentric designs.
Oh, they're good looking.
Are there any female dragons? Do they change that?
I haven't seen any yet, but I'm obviously not too far.
Because I wouldn't think they would, because all the ones that are canon, they didn't add any. But at the same time, I could see that being like, throw one in just to be like, here's something. Now that they know they're not going to like have a normal Spyro 4 or anything.
It is interesting, because like in the original game, the dragons are always like, thank you for releasing me, Spyro. And I do kind of miss it, because it's just so like iconic. Even their like hand motions that they do. And now they have all these crazy, there's just one dragon. Okay,
well, sounds foolish to me.
There's just one dragon he's like drinking coffee with his tail, and I thought that was so cute. I was like, oh, that's awesome. He was also I think he was one of the better looking ones. Yeah. But yeah, the first dragon in the Artisan's world, pretty good looking. Pretty good looking.
I did not expect that comment. I thought you were going to be like, oh, they're like way over the top and silly, because it was just like, they can't change gameplay, but they can change cutscenes. And I guess from your take, it's really good. I'm curious then to see what you think about the other games.
Yeah, I'm excited.
They come back in 3.
I remember in the second game, I haven't gotten to the second game yet, but Hunter is one of the characters, and I remember I really liked him when I was a kid. He was like my favorite character besides Spyro. So.
I'm really curious to play, because it just seems like it'd be so much fun to sit down on like a weekend and be like, I'm just going to play through all 3. Because they're not that long at all.
Which one do you think? Because for me as a kid, I think 2 was the most iconic for me. It's the one I remember the most. Which one for you?
I think 1 is probably was the best experience, and if I was going to play a new one, I'd play that one. I think 2 is the one I associate like strongest with this game I played the most, and I'm told most people love 3 the most, but I feel like 3 always felt, I don't know, just kind of off. If that makes sense. I don't know. Like, I think it had the best game structures and the most like technically interesting levels, but it's hard because I guess like my issue is I like 1's style the most. Where it was just like, that was a lot more just like fantasy, like fun fantasy. But then I felt 2 when it became more fantasy cartoon, and then it went on to be what's define the series. So it's hard for me to say like 1's the best, because it really isn't the same at all. Not at all, but like, it doesn't have the same feel in terms of like humor and like graphics, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like 1 is a lot more like you're dragging you flame stuff and all that, whereas 2 is like you got like squashed like a pancake and you fly around and you're dead. Like that doesn't really happen in the first one. I don't know. People love 3, but it always felt gimmicky maybe because they had all those like other characters you could play. And I think if you look at the series as a whole, that makes a lot more sense. But yeah, I don't know. It just felt weird, or it's like not as vibrant in the same way. Whereas I think 2 didn't, because 2 had like really eccentric stuff. Like I still love like 1's bonus level was cool. 3's is neat. I always thought 2, it's not even like the bonus level, but the like Dragon Shores one, I thought like that was just like super fun and cool. Yeah. And it's got the best like after game reward, where if you 100% it, you can start a new save file and just get a permanent flame power up. So this is all about Spyro. Yeah, we can talk a lot about that because we played this as a kid.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still looking forward to it because I know you can just like, it's weird like how you can just sit down and play it. I think that's when it's best to consume a game. And there's a lot of times where like I think some of the best gameplay I've had in game was actually in stuff where it had new DLC, but I had played it a lot already. Because you have the experience where like, I know all the systems of the game, but now I have something, now fully understanding it, I can tackle something new. So I know like when the DLC for like Dark Souls came out and stuff, it's like, I know all these systems, I know how to play the game, now I want to take on new challenges, instead of like when I was first playing, it's like, I'm bumbling through because I don't understand it, much less being able to have fun and tackle that. Or the other way around, where it's like, I know it, but I also know all the easy strategies, I don't really need to mix it up. So I think that's what this is, and that's why it's so much fun. It's like, it's basically what you know, but it's also slightly different, and there's more to it. Yeah. And you can just like really like sink your teeth into it. I'm gonna look forward to the cutscenes now. Like that's such a specific thing. Okay.
You should ask Jamie what she thinks.
What she thinks? She'll probably be over because she wants to play it too. But Jamie doesn't finish games, so I'll be able to finish it. So that's really curious. Now and that's because like I've been holding back from looking stuff up because I feel like that's the only thing that's going to be new really is like the graphics. So I don't want to be like, show me all the dragons, or I want to see all the cutscenes, because I feel like that's like the treat at this point. So, but I've been looking forward to it. It's just like, you were all happy because it was going to come out like when you got back, but I'm also like, I kind of wanted to play it when it came out. Yeah. But I'm also not going to buy another copy of it just so I can play it basically a week early for me. So, I'm super excited. Do you think they'll have DLC for it? I just thought about that, where it's like, they didn't have anything new, but it's weird because like, it seems like there'd be no easy way to add that, but they could, like, in Spyro 1, just add it to, like, the last world. Just an extra portal. Or, you know, just be, like, play... They could add an entire new world, actually, let's say Spyro 1, or any of the games. Entirely new world, new levels. Mm-hmm. I feel like that could be kind of fun. But it feels like the structure of Spyro is pretty simple. Like I said, I wish, like I said to you, I wish they would just do, like, a New Game Plus, where it's like, hey, now you played the game, you beat it. Let's just, like, shift all the gem placements, all the enemies, everything around, even to the point where it's not canon. Yeah. Like, you know, like, why not, like, let's put two Nasty Nork boss fight in Dreamweavers, you know, and like, just make a mechanic of, like, growing and shrinking him. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to be canon, but it might be really fun, you know, if you've never played before. It doesn't seem like that would take too much development time since you've done it already, but maybe I'm wrong. You know, or just like, hey, mix up all the dragons, because you already know. Mm-hmm. You already know what they would need to tell you. So, but I definitely, like, was super, like, nostalgia when you said thank you for releasing me, because I also remember how all the different variations they had. Like, some would say, like, thank you for releasing me, or like, thank you for releasing me. And it's just like, you could tell it was like, just do like 6 of them and put a spin on each one of them. And it's like one dude in a voice box. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I can just like picture like how they would like shrink away, like they would like collapse, and they would just do like the yeah, super nostalgic. What was your favorite level in the original Spyro?
In the original, I always remembered like the Magic Crafters world a lot.
Magic Crafters, Dreamweavers was really cool. I think I had to pick a level. I always, this is dumb, but I think my favorite boss fight was the robot boss fight. I don't know why, the rest of that world is kind of like, meh, especially as a kid. Mm-hmm. Treetop sucks, I don't remember that's like the highest level. But I remember like thinking that boss fight was like so cool, and it was just like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I also remember like as a kid, I was like so dumb. Because when you fight the first boss in the first world, they tell you like there's a boss for each world. Mm-hmm. And I remember being a kid like, no there wasn't. Like, none of these other ones have bosses, so I thought it had to be the big like special portal. Not realizing that I was like, no shit, the fucking giant robot was the boss. Yeah. You know, and obviously, like, Nasty Nork was, like, the boss, but I am super eager. Like, I was so sad because I kind of want to also play the remaster of Crash Bandicoot, which the only reason Spyro got made is because Crash Bandicoot did so well. Yeah. And when Andrew got me my Switch, on it, it said it was installed, but I had to put in the card. And I thought for sure, like, I dug through that box so many times, like, am I sure? Like, it doesn't list it on the side, right? But I do need a card. Like, it's to insert the game pack or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm pretty sure they must like pulled mine out to like use it for testing, and they just haven't put that game. I'm pretty sure it's got to be something like that, or maybe it was used and that was the game they had or something. I don't know where Andrew actually got it, but I was like so annoyed because I keep seeing that on there because I don't know how to install it, and I was like, I kind of want to play that, especially because when Spyro's like next month, it's like, well, I could play this to like get into it. Yeah. Even though I've never played like the first Crash Bandicoot, I played the other two. And it seems like it'd be fun. Like I said, like they're not that hard. I don't have to do anything I don't want to. It's just I'm just gonna go play through the game. Really fun. You know what game I would love to replay is Tomba, which I love. Tomba 2. And Tomba 2 and Ape Escape. I loved Ape Escape so much. You can run Ape Escape on your laptop. Yeah, but it's hard without like a controller and whatnot. I wonder if you could port Windows, not Windows, but the Xbox One. I can set it for you if you want to play it over here. I used to. I think Jamie has. I don't think she has that one. But yeah, that one totally holds up. Like, Ape Escape is amazing. Like, they made 2 sequels. Mm-hmm. They are not as good, I don't think. I've never played them, but just looking at them, they felt way too cartoony. But that first one was great. It was. It was so, oh, yeah. It was so intricate. Like, that's the thing about it, and like even like Spyro, it's like, there's so much like depth to like the characters, I feel, and like the world, even if like, ultimately the gameplay is not crazy. Well, I just remember, I feel like, for a game like that, I remember it had all those mini games too that were really fun. That were just like fun in and of themselves. And I feel like characters had such good hair in that game. They all have like the same spiky hair. Which I loved. I wanted hair like that when I was a kid. Yeah, I went back and played that not too long ago, a couple years ago, and I remember I still had like a lot of fun. And all the ones you remember, all the monkeys being annoying, that were annoying, are still annoying. Yeah. No, but like, it did feel like a game where you could play over and over and then like find a new secret. You know, or like, oh, that's so cool, or like come back and like, oh, I didn't know there was here, or I remember as a kid being down, I could see the monkey, but I have no idea how to get to it, and you finally like do it. It's like, I remember a couple of years ago, I went back and played Tomba 2, and that was totally held up. It was so fun. Yeah. And it was really fun because I could actually, because I remember a lot of, like the first part in the game, there's this like fire you have to put out, and you always had to do that for me, and I was like, I can do this literally now. The first thing in the game. It was literally the first game, and I could after learning to jump. Yeah. I've talked this before, like, that game had so much like depth to it. It's just a platformer, but it's like a platformer with like all of these big long quests. But ultimately, it's like you jump and hit things.
it's just like, I remember the music in that game, when you hear it, like the music that you hear when you're in that town, it's just like so, you hear it and you're just immediately taken back.
I do that sometimes, like if I'm bored, like in my run, or I'm just like at work or something, maybe not work, but like somewhere where you're just like stuck. Like that doesn't happen to me as much as a kid, but where you're like just stuck waiting. Is I would just like say like I'm gonna start at the beginning of the game in my head. Can I go through like how far can I get? So
my favorite level was always the lava level.
The lava level, the second world.
Yeah, second world. I love that level.
That was it. If I had to pick one, let me think. I'm not going through them there in my head now because it's island, like lava town. That was another thing because like town's a big thing. They had the pig city, the ghost world. I mean the ghost world was so hard because I didn't understand the mechanics.
You mean like the jungle
Ice world? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like a haunted jungle or something. Yeah.
Ice world. Yeah.
I really like the last one, the water world.
That's a cool world. Yeah.
Yeah. Ice one was fun too because it just was a bunch of things that were really cool to me at a time. At the time, just like like you go like run around. Oh, I don't know if this counts, but spoilers for Toma 2. At the end of the game, when like the big bad guy like freezes time, and you have to run around this like muted world, and it was just like, and like as a kid,
that's really cool.
Yeah, I know. And it's just like it comes out of nowhere, and it's just like good luck, and you have no idea how to deal with it. It's just like go for it. But there's a lot of games I feel like as a kid where there's things as a kid I could never figure out. Like I think I ultimately beat Ape Escape and stuff. But in Spyro, I remember I never understood it as a kid because there's one dragon in the second world.
I know which dragon.
Whatever, but it's like it's right next to the exit portal. It's like the first. It's like canyons or something. It's like it's right next to the exit portal, and you can't make that jump. Or at least you can't make it without like a glitch. You're actually supposed to come like way around and like jump and glide around the corner or something. But as a kid, I would just stare at that because I'm like 99% done. If I get that dragon, I can go to the special world.
Yeah.
But particularly in Toma 2, there's one that eluded me forever, and it's like the only reason I went back and played it, other than I wanted to, was there was a whole quest line around, I want to say like a mermaid scale. And the mermaid scale was in the first world. But you can't, and it's either that or like a hook, I can't remember what. But the only way to get it was you had to drain the water in like the canals at the end. And to do that, and I know this now, there's like these giant water pumps.
Yeah.
And they had one side was red and one side was blue. And you had to set them all to blue. And I didn't know this at the time, but when you load in the first time, they're all random. And as a kid, I remember I'd started the game once and I just hit the first one, and I guess all the others, by chance, were like blue side down. So I just played this game. I played this game like 18 times. Hit this. All of a sudden there's a new cutscene. And I was like, I got the thing. And I remember I couldn't, like something happened, like I lost that save or something. And I remember being obsessed, like, how did I do that? Because I know I saw it. I know it's a thing. And it's not like a one-off thing. It's like, this is a whole quest line. So I know I've done everything else in the game. And there's just one NPC asking for this item. And it says, just drain the water. And that's the only hint you get. I'm like, how do I do that? And I remember when I did that as like an adult, I'm like, that's how. Oh my god. Because like that again, I had a similar mechanic where it's like you could go get like yourself rated about like how much of the game you completed. I was like stuck at 98%. I'm like, how? How? But also I didn't have like the wherewithal to like look it up as a kid. But that's a really good game. It's one of the ones I feel like I would like recommend, but it's hard to describe.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as you go further and further, it gets like really deep. Like just if you want to like beat the game, it's not that big. But if you really go into like some of those like other stuff, it's like super. I don't want to be like deep, but like
But it had like those like towers that you went in.
Like hidden towers.
Yeah.
That was what I was gonna talk about. Which just like you could play it over and over, and all of a sudden you would stumble on like these really big quest lines. They're like, this is like a thing. And I remember that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like totally like, go through in this, but if you remember, like what you would do is like you get one half of a song or something, and if you get the full song, well I should say, you get half the song from a random quest, and then you could play it. And if you played it while next to the door would appear. And then if you get the other half of the song, you play both, the door would open, you go on, and there's a whole secret tower. And so that was the whole thing. One, just getting the things, because there's three. And you get one, but get half of the other, and then you know there's a third they talk about, you don't know what that is. Then it's a whole other thing to like find the things. Then it was a whole other thing to like actually complete them. And remember as a kid, like I knew there was one where I needed an item from the third tower that I didn't have, so I never beat the second. And that's another one where it's like, I'm just going to go through and like 100% this game. Because like there's so many things there, it's like, I remember that. But yeah. That was a really good game.
Yeah.
Toma 2 is a really good game. I've never played the first one. It's like all 2D. But that one's supposed to be supposedly like hold up very well as well. I think didn't we have another podcast where we just talked about PlayStation 1 games?
I think so, yeah.
So, what's interesting is like to go back and see like other people like agree with my opinions of good PS1 games. But it's also crazy because I feel like we haven't played like some of the biggest PlayStation 1 games at all. Like Metal Gear Solid was huge. Final Fantasy 7, 8, or 9.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 7 is like the best selling PS1 game of all time, I'm pretty sure. Same with Metal Gear Solid. And it's like, yeah, never. I mean, I played them since. But not Metal Gear Solid, but Final Fantasies. And I really enjoyed them. So, but yeah, God. Anything else you want to talk about Spyro's? About the dragons?
No.
No? I just want to play the first one. Like, I kept thinking about that. Like, I always forget that there's the other 2 games. Like, I just want to play the first game. And I had this moment where it's like, Jamie actually has, like, the first 3 for, like, the original PS1 disc, like, right over there. I was like, I kind of want to play Spyro. I could, but I don't want to, like, wear myself out, like, a week before I play it. But it's like, I kind of want to play it because it's the perfect, like, you could beat it in a night kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, although, I have a super thing where, like, I hate annoying bullshit in games where it's just, like, just come back later. And I remember that was the thing that I think started with Spyro 1 versus 2. Yeah. Because I loved in Spyro 1, you just beat the level, you're done with it.
Yeah. And Spyro 2, you have to come back.
It's like, just come back later after you did some arbitrary thing. And it's like, that's dumb. I don't want to do that. I want to collect all the things. So I think it started with that game. I think. So Ellie, what else are you playing?
So I've been playing RuneScape.
Osiris, specifically.
Yeah.
Old school RuneScape. I got you hooked on that.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's good. So I got my woodcutting is up to 60. And I finally just got my attack up to 40 so I can use my rune scimitar that I bought. And I also spent like 3 hours stealing cakes to sell on the GE.
How would you describe the game itself? Like, what is it?
It's like an open world questing leveling game.
Yeah. I don't know what's right other than that. It's just like, it's a thing. It's really hard to sell until you play it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I know Andrew's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm just going to like hit this thing for the next 20 hours.
Yeah.
Whenever I log in, it's like, well, why'd you do that? It's like, you don't understand. It's the whole system. And it's not really a community. And what I love about it is like, ultimately, it really isn't much more than like a mobile game. But it's like a mobile game where then on the weekend I can go have like an actually great experience. Whereas if I just had, I don't know, Temple Run or something, ultimately that is the game. There is no more to it, but this has like more to it. And I like its slower pace. Like, it's not like Destiny or something where it's like, you gotta log in 40 hours a week. It's like, no, I can just do it while I'm doing whatever. You know, it's not a big deal. A lot of people are like super into it, or so ridiculously into it that it's not even a contest. It's not like I'm gonna be like, have any hope of being like quote unquote high level, because there's people who play 20 hours a day. So yeah, they're crazy. But yeah, it's a fun little thing to have inside. And I love like you're just like new comments coming through like, oh my god, I died. How do I get my stuff back? Because you drop it undead. And it's like, I remember when, you know. Or it's like your first like death where you like lose something really valuable. It's just like a memorable experience, or like the quests and stuff. Like how it's hard to get across like how all the quests in that are not meant to be fun, but they're meant to be like almost like a bonding experience, like a trial of passage. Like you're talking about the Goblin Quest, we're like, oh my god, that's so dumb. Like, all it is just go here, go there. So, and it's something that's really hard to like, you can only have that experience once with a lot of those. So it's been fun that like watching you do all that. So it's cute.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely makes me want to play more. Just like on the side, it's like, oh, I gotta do stuff so we can chat with Ellie. So, what else is up other than that?
What else?
I feel like,
just home from college.
You can rant about Stack Overflow and your...
Oh.
Do you want to talk about your Arduino class or your cryptocurrency stuff?
I
don't even know the question.
I could rant a little bit about Arduino.
Yeah.
I just feel like... Okay, well, I don't know. It's like... I feel like Arduino... I don't know if it's worse than normal, but like... So I have to do this stuff with this Arduino, and I'm writing code, and there's like little idiosyncrasies with the Arduino. Like, it's essentially C code, but there's a few things that are a little bit different. And just... It's just like Stack Overflow. You go and you look for an answer, and people give the stupidest answers, and it's like not at all related to your problem. Did I tell the story on this podcast when I went on Stack Overflow? So I was having problems with Vim in my terminal. It just like wasn't scrolling, which I was like, that's weird. Normally it does. And so I just went online to find out what the fix for it. The fix for it is just do like Command R. It's really, really easy. And the top 2 answers were just like, oh no, go download this whole different program. And I'm like, that's not an answer to the problem.
Yeah.
But that's all you ever see on like Stack Overflow is, oh, go use this entirely different like language. Oh my gosh. Well, or I was doing another thing because I was trying to update, like install this like extension for Vim for like a language I was using. And one of the answers, like top answers on Stack Overflow was like, you need to go in and manually like edit your Vim code. I'm like, no. that is actually, just objectively, not the answer.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to go in and, like, I don't know. It was just, like, this stupid... No, actually, it wasn't the Vim code. It's LaTeX. They wanted you to go in and manually edit a LaTeX package to do, like, something you wanted to. And I'm like, nope, that's not how it's supposed to work.
I have people, like, I've seen, like, that, too, where they're just like, oh, you can totally do this. Just use reflection in Java. It's like, there is, like, literally 0 times where that seems to be the right answer.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if you're some top level, like, working for Oracle and you're figuring something out, okay. But if you're just, like, writing a JUnit and maybe not even that. Like, if you're just writing, like, a calculator and you're using, like, reflection or something, you know, because it's happening, like, schoolwork and stuff, it's like, pretty sure that's just wrong. Like, yes, you might be technically correct that is a solution.
Yeah.
No.
well, I hate, because I also have to use LaTeX a lot for my classes, and what I also hate, too, is, like, I'll go on there trying to find out how to do something on LaTeX, and they'll always give an answer that's like, well, this isn't exactly what you're trying to do, but here's a similar thing. And it's so frustrating because it's like, yeah, but your similar thing leaves out the part that I don't know how to do. Like, I was trying to make a graph that had labels on the functions. And I'm like, okay, I can make the graph, but I want to know how to do the labels. And I just feel like it's also that people answer and they don't actually know the answer. Like, and that's why they give such bad answers. And
yeah, I think we should clarify what LaTeX is. LaTeX is, it's a programming language used to essentially write, I guess, research papers and textbooks in.
Yeah.
So, like, in college, your professors do that. And I always felt like they say that because they do that for their field. I don't think that's relevant for most people. But also, I do respect that that's a thing. Like, if you had to sit down and, like, write a textbook, having code that basically says, like, this is a paragraph, you should not split it, pushes another page, and have that all be done dynamically is nice. Or, like, you don't have to manage the index. You just say, this is this heading, put the page number it eventually is when you print it. You know, I can see how ridiculously powerful that is. But also, like, I remember it's like, this is like a page long. Why do I have to deal with this LaTeX library not, like, linking right? And it's just like, it's so frustrating. Because it's like, not a language, but it is.
Well, that's another thing, too, is like, so there's this package you use a lot in LaTeX called Minted to put code into your, like, LaTeX, so it formats it, but it needs to use Python. And I have Python on my computer, and it works fine on my computer, but Sublime Text, which I use as an editor, can't find Python, so it can never use this Minted package, even if I'm not, like, trying to put Python code in it. It's a problem, and I know that there's a solution somewhere, and I could find it, but I don't want to, just because it's like, why doesn't it just, every time I try to use LaTeX, it's something that isn't working.
Do you have any other problems like that you could deal with? It's just not worth it?
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, ever since I built my PC, I have a thing where, like, every 2 months, my USB 3.0 slot, like, USB slots just stop working. And I was like, I'm just going to deal with this one day. I'm going to deal with this one. I put it off forever. And, like, finally, like, this year, I looked it up. Turns out it's something like there's something messed up with the Windows update where it thinks it's a different kind. So it keeps updating the driver to the wrong thing anytime they publish a new driver. So that's why. So now I know why it's wrong, I just never fixed it. So it's like, yep, you can just be... They still work as USB 2.0, and it gives me a warning, but that's fine. I'm going to go do this podcast, I'm going to plug it into that port. It's going to be like, you could use this faster on a USB 3.0 port. I'm like, you are one. You know, but I'm not going to deal with this right now. So, I don't know if you have anything else. I totally have a bunch of stuff like that, where it's like, it's fine. So...
Yeah, I just have so many rants about, like, looking stuff up online about... I don't know. Yeah. And it's always like the Arduino. Okay, it's always like people have to add information that's irrelevant. Like, I was looking up some stuff about my Arduino because I was having some sort of a weird bug and I couldn't figure it out. And it's always like someone's asking the question and they have to be like, oh, well, I was coding in assembly before this. I'm like, no one cares. Like, no one cares. Just answer your, like, I don't know. Ask your question and it's just so frustrating.
I can totally feel it. Because we were ranting about this last night about just, like, the nuances of computer science. And you mentioned, like, so does your Sublime editor, does that see Node.js, Ellie, for example?
I haven't tried it.
No? Well, what have you downloaded, right? Because clearly you probably downloaded years ago, right?
Yeah. Oh. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah. There was I was, like, downloading Node.js because I needed it for something. And someone made a comment to me, like, why haven't you downloaded that before and used it before? Like, I was some sort of horrible... CS
like, you're not a real developer if you don't have it
downloaded
downloaded and use code for it in your, like, spare time and have, like, 20,000 GitHub commits.
Yeah, and I was just like...
I hate that stuff.
Yeah.
So we had a whole rant about that. Yeah, the other day we're just like this and this and this.
Yeah.
And it's like still stored up from college. It feels like just like frustrating.
Yeah.
So I know like right now I'm looking at doing some projects on my own, and it's the same thing where it's like I know there's an answer, but it's just ridiculously hard to find. Even though ultimately, if I find the right person, they could just tell you it instantly. Like, oh, objectively, this is the right answer. You know, like just what command R or like whatever you said.
Well, yeah, it was like such an easy answer. Well, that's another problem. Like with my Arduino, I was having an issue where my cord was like bad, so it was a bad connection to my computer. So my Arduino kept like rebooting itself because it would like restart, open the connection. But I didn't realize that was happening. So I was like trying to find this problem, and I actually would think that would be kind of a common problem that people would have, but all the answers were like totally unrelated and like really unhelpful. And I was like, oh no, it's just this really simple thing.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like with Arduino, especially because it's part C, part real world chaos, there's so many like little things where it's like just impossible to document. Or like you can't predict what people are going to use it, so you constantly have bugs. And a lot of times there are objectively like right answers, they're just hard to find. Like I know when I was doing stuff, like I was doing something simple, like I was trying to do extra credit for class or something, and we hadn't learned how to properly do it. Because it was like try this, and then you're meant to fail it, and we'll learn about it later. And it was all about like a debouncing. But I didn't have that concept, and there is a definitive right answer. Basically, it's you as a person like press a button or like send a signal.
Yeah. I had it also,
Yeah, and you think it's just like perfect signal. In reality, it might go like on, off, on, and you can't like refire every time. But I was doing the same thing where it's like I'm pressing the button, and it's just like spazzing out. I'm just like, what is this? And I basically didn't find an answer until I went to class. Yeah. And I was just like, it's hard, and there's no reason logically it should do that, but physically it does.
And this is another thing we're talking about. Like we're both CS versus like double E, or like electrical engineering, and because it's like I have this like electrical engineering lab I'm in, and this last lab I swear my partner and I spent like half the class just figuring out how to use the oscilloscope, which is like, is it really that relevant to what we were doing? I mean, it's relevant, but it's like we're supposed to be learning how to build this circuit, but like all this time is figuring out like how to like turn on this equipment and what does this button do and whatnot.
I remember like, for as crazy as I think like CS students can be about like, you don't have like your own custom JavaScript library, I feel like it's even crazier for like EE students who are like, oh yeah, just like, I just like cut the chip in half and resoldered the stuff I want. It's like, no, that's not normal. Like, that's not the default thing you would go to. You know, or like just that, like, oh, I just happen to have an oscilloscope at home. It's like, no, that is not the standard. Or if it's like, if I'm in like a EE 101 course, I shouldn't be expected to like do crazy things, you know? Or like I don't know how many classes I ended up taking, because a lot of it was like ultimately like, I don't want to say theoretical, but it was more like equation based, or like the science behind it. It wasn't necessarily like literally sitting down and like buying chips and all that. But yeah, like someone like Mitsu comments like, you don't know off top of your head how to like put a bunch of resistors in series and in parallel to build a perfect amount of impedance, and like, no, do I really need that? Yeah. But I always felt bad because I think it was just a lot of times my professors not knowing what class I'm in, because it's mixed. So like some of them were like students taking like their like senior level electrical engineering courses, and I'm just in it because I need to fulfill like this one side one. Although I had like some of my best professors doing that, or like cool course. Like I took the signal processing theory in my E. That was awesome. Totally didn't expect that. But there's other ones that are just like, I'm not using this. Yeah. So like the specifics of impedance and all that.
Oh, we're learning all about impedance. I have to say, I do think the class, my double E class, is taught very well. It's just I don't really like that topic.
Yeah. So it's weird because it's like basically it's like take computer science and then mix physics with it, and it's just like that's not fun. It can be really cool, but it's usually not fun. So I can totally relate, because I just remember going through like my Arduino, like when I built that Handsome Jack project. I think like when I first got to, you're trying to like boot it up again. It's like, oh, I didn't tell you. You have to plug this chip in first, because like it has some like protection on it where if it takes too much voltage at once, it shuts itself off to protect itself. And I guess the Arduino, again, it wasn't listed anywhere, but it like resets a bunch of its registers. So if you plug in like the red chip before the Arduino will shut the other one off. Don't know why, but it's a lot similar to just like just put that one in first. Yeah. You know, and like it's not on the documentation. I'm sure there's a logic to what it's doing, but it's just it's weird, you know, and there's no easy way to do anything about that. Yeah. So, do you ever encounter like bad documentation? I want to talk to you so much about the Jack project.
Yeah, no. I mean, I do. I think my best thing was like D3, which I think I've talked about before when I tried to learn it. So I'm learning Rust recently though, and I actually have to say Rust has very good documentation. And their compiler is very helpful. Like it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, you made a typo. It's like, oh, you meant to type you know, like this word instead of this word. I'm like, wow, yes, I did mean to do that. It's really helpful, actually, for the most part. I mean, sometimes you still get bugs. You're like, I don't understand why I'm getting this bug, but it is very helpful.
I had an image I meant to send you that was like just two people. It's like 20 hours of me preparing my code, and it's just like this really structured like a thesis paper, and then it's like my Rust compiler upon seeing it, it's just a screaming baby.
Yeah.
It's like I've never coded it, but I've heard of like bad things like that. Like,
I guess like the thing about it is it's like it's like since it's so type safe, it's like all your errors get into the compiler versus in runtime, but it is a lot of like so many compiler errors.
Yeah, and it probably forces you to take care of everything.
Every single thing.
Yeah. Which I've been there where it's like, yes, this can throw a null pointer error, but it's like if that happens,
oh yeah,
the entire thing's failing.
Rust has these things called like match statements where you can like match a thing and you have to match everything that it can be. Mm-hmm. Like, and if you don't, it complains, and it's like, sometimes it's just like, man, I just want to like test something. I know it's not matching everything, but it's like, nope, you have to do all of the cases.
There's another one I think someone I saw like said the same thing. I think it was Go, where it's like you have to like handle, what is it? It cannot compile if there's any errors, and you can't have any unused variables. Like that's an error. So if you just want to test something, you have to like set them to something and print them out. Otherwise, it's like this value isn't used. It's like I just want to see like this. I'm just doing a unit test. So.
One thing the Rust compiler always complains about is like it doesn't take parentheses around its like if statements or while or but I always put them there because I'm used to it in C, and it's just a warning. But like I feel like when I compile it, it's like 20 warnings. It's like don't use these parentheses, but I'm like, oh, I have other stuff to do. I'm gonna leave them. Yeah. Which probably is a very good style, but I'm just like, oh, not important right now.
I would love I want to have partially a project I do just so I can have a clean repository and like be able to like, you know what, I got 30 minutes before I have to go to work, let's go clean up some of those warnings. Like I like the idea of doing that and having a nice simple clean code, because you could do that for your own code.
Yeah.
You know, you could just be like, this is very well maintained, it's properly scoped, it doesn't need to keep growing forever. It's like, this is complete, it's done.
Yeah.
So I really want to do more work with like Arduino or like a Raspberry Pi, but I can't come up with any ideas. I feel like that's the issue. It's like it's really easy to make something, it's just very hard to make something useful.
Yeah.
You know? But you talked about you made a solar charger?
Yeah.
So what was in like that? Because I think that's really cool.
It's a solar panel, and then like a lithium battery, and then just like some resistors.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you have it ever with you? Like
I can bring it home over winter break.
Because I would love to see it. I would love to make one, honestly. Cause, like,
yeah, it's really cool.
That's one of the things I would love.
And it totally charges like your phone at a pretty decent rate. Like it's not super slow.
I feel like it'd be super fun, especially if you had like in a purse.
Yeah. Where
like you could just always have it around. Where it's not so it's like, oh, I didn't charge my portable charger. It's like, oh, well, why not just stick it in this, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's one of the main reasons I bought like a desk that has like power ports on it, is like I can just plug in my phone when I'm right there. And yeah, it's not much, but it just like tops it off.
Yeah.
I think it's such a big deal where it's like, you know what? I can have my phone full brightness all the time.
Yeah.
Because you can constantly top it off. So just a nice little thing. And I want to make stuff like that instead of like the stuff I made in like my EE classes, which are like, look, I can turn on this light bulb in time with a signal or something. It's like, that's not really useful.
Yeah.
So.
I have to say, the projects we make in my EE class are pretty cool. Like, I made an LED display recently that does Space Invaders, which, like, it's not like, I mean, it's a pretty simple thing, but it's like, it's cool, it works. It's like, has like a knob, and then like a, button and everything. Which I did not have to debounce that button. I was supposed to debounce that button. They had this whole worksheet about how to debounce a button, but then when I tested it with my code, it didn't need to be debounced. I was like, okay,
maybe it just, like, does it for you.
It definitely doesn't, because they were supposed to. Like, that was supposed to be a whole learning process, was how to debounce the button. And then I was like, well, my button works, and I didn't debounce it.
Yeah. I feel like that's also how like a lot of Arduino projects go, where it's just like, this should work, or it doesn't work, but it should.
Yeah. And I get some like really weird, just like super weird behavior.
Yeah, and it's just hard.
Well, yeah. Well, because that's another thing, I guess, when I was coding with the Arduino. Like, normally when you like code, even in C, if you get like a null pointer, it'll like segfault and it'll crash. The Arduino doesn't really do that. It just kind of like keeps going, or like just does something really weird, and so it's harder to point to like what's actually wrong with your code. Which is another thing. So in this class, the code that we have to write isn't like usually that complicated, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, it's not complicated, so I don't put a lot of like thinking effort into it, and I get really stupid mistakes, like just, oh, my for loop's like 1 out of like, off by 1, which is a really silly mistake, but because I was like, oh, this code's easy, I wasn't really thinking very hard about it.
I'm surprised they don't just have like an Arduino simulator to like code against that's built to like diagnose stuff. Like I think they have a debugger, but it still runs on the board, I think. So I haven't used one for a while because they also have like different brands and stuff. I think an Arduino Uno is the one I have right now, but it had nothing to do with it. It's like I want to do something, I just don't know what. So, I know what I want to do. I really want to do. I haven't said this in podcasts. I want to build, like, fuse an Arduino with like an Xbox controller to like record like macros and stuff, and just like automate simple things, stuff like that. Or just like it would be cool to tie in like simple controls. But for me, the hardest thing is like anything I could build with it. I feel like I could just buy for far less time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just I feel like that it's a scale of those things. Like you could buy I could buy a solar powered USB charger.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, like a lot of things like for the jack thing, I could probably build the jack thing for like $5 if I literally built every single thing from resistors and like small little like and or chips and stuff and like.
Oh man, logic gates.
Yeah.
I'm not into those at all. Like those no.
I can live my entire career if I don't have to use the De Morgan law again.
Yes.
It's like I've learned it. It's stuck in my head and it's in a way simple, but I'm always like, I don't know, like. I guess you can use it to like minimize logic and like coding, but you really don't need to.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can just automate that and stuff. But I was just like, I remember I had so many classes that were like that, where it's like minimize this logical function using just pen and paper, and it's like, no, it's like just I don't even describe it. It's like learning long division over again. You know, because it's like its own math system. It's like, gosh.
Yeah.
It's cool that it exists though. It's like a proof in a weird way. But yeah, I could go my entire life without having to do that again.
Me too.
So, but yeah, I do want to build something. We should do a project together sometime.
Yeah.
I just don't know what. That's the thing.
Yeah, I never know what. Like I always want to do a project, but I don't really have anything that I'm like into. I definitely don't want to build like an app. Not into apps.
Like a phone app, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's like one like too easy. In a way, especially because like it seems like a lot of stuff is going really web based, so I feel like you don't really need to build an app. You just need to build a client, and the server's going to do everything. In which case, it's like just graphics, and I feel like you can with built-in like Android stuff, or even iPhone. Like it's not that hard to do if you're just doing a clean, simple GUI that just basically reads a web page. So it doesn't seem crazy. It seems like the thing you do when you're like a kid.
Yeah.
It's like I made an app. It's like did you though? Did you?
Yeah.
So. But I really want to do something fun with like a website and just like a back end thing. I feel like that'd be super fun.
I really want to do like a systems thing because I really like systems, but that's always, it just seems like every systems thing is like really complicated. And I mean, I want to do something, I just don't know what.
So like what would be a system thing that you would do?
I don't know, something like operating systems related. But that's the thing is I don't know what I would want to do. Could like make my own file system, but I don't have like an idea to like, or like what file system would I make that's not 1,000 times worse than the one that already exists.
I know what you mean. Yeah, that's what it is. Like this has been done before. Yeah. It's not novel, but so unless you're doing something really specific, like I want to put a file system on my coffee maker. Yeah. You know, or if you need to do that, I don't know why you would need to do that, but you could. So, I don't know. I think it'd be fun to do low level stuff. What I think would be fun to get into is I have a lot of stuff I would like to like write software for, but then also like it'd be cool to make an automated chip that does it. So say like if I want to, because that's what I think is kind of neat in there, is like room for, I guess like growth, is like, oh, I wrote this software that does some kind of function. And then I'm going to burn that to a chip that just like goes and does that instantly. Because I know that was a thing where a lot of professors talked about, where if you can get it down to the chip level, it's just blindingly fast, because you can just like, I guess make the connections more physical than computational. It's faster if you're going to and or things instead of trying to like literally like manage 2 registers to do addition and all that. So I think one of the really cool talks I had one time in my classes when I had a professor who talked about how inefficient addition was versus multiplication, because addition you have to have all these cascading operations, whereas like multiplication you can always like kind of fit it to like a power of 2 and then you just like shift stuff around. And it was just like kind of like, man, all my knowledge is just coming together right now. And it's just like addition, which is like the first thing you learn, is actually terribly hard at one point to do from a processor level. It was just like kind of cool. I know how you talked a bunch about like memory paging and stuff, and just like, it's kind of cool to see all that stuff work out. It's pretty cool. I don't want to be the one to have to discover that stuff, but it's kind of cool. So I feel like that'd be fun to do something like that. I don't know what it would be. Like it'd be kind of cool to do something like that with like image processing or something. Not image processing, video processing. Or where it's like, man, I'm doing these conversions on every single one of my videos. Wouldn't it be cool if I just made like a USB dongle that's like this big, that converts into 1/4 of the time, but that's like the only thing it does. It splits it from this to this.
Yeah.
You know, because like that'd be something where it's like probably hasn't been done before, helps me, is neat.
Yeah. Like I feel like one thing like I always find frustrating is that I just want to know like how much like so much more about how stuff works, but there's just so much out there. Like even as far as like systems, like there's so many different operating systems, or even like the main ones are all different, and I just want to know how stuff works and like know what it does, but there's just so much.
Like I reviewed a lot of documentation because like I just want to actually understand how this works, not just this like voodoo of like, well, we only know this one works and no one else knows how to fix it. Because that's what it felt like college was. It was like one person knows how to fix it, everyone does it that way.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and like that's how you got it, because like there's no way you can really learn everything. That takes years. Although I do think what I want to do is like code like mainly in Java. Is I thought about just taking like a Java course or just getting like a raw like not Java from scratch, like teach me Java. Like, because I do it, but I feel like there's also a lot of stuff where I was taught Java to like learn programming. So I feel like I'd like to go back and like really know more overall.
Yeah.
Like actually of the language itself. So yeah. What else does that have anything with you?
Actually I had a list.
You had a list?
Yeah, should I open my list?
Yeah. I always meant to have a list, and then I like filled my book. I didn't get back to it. Because I want to get more into doing like more of a produced podcast where we have like a starting topic and we just like, go. And I can say like, this podcast is about something. This podcast is about Old Country Buffet. That was what the last one was about. And it's about pizza and Old Country Buffet. But it's hard because it always comes down to the wire where it's like, I got to get this out. So let's just talk. Plus I don't want to talk about myself the whole time. Because I can go into this, like so many things. But I don't want to just be like,
Yeah.
Because like, how am I going to talk about this specifics of the things that I'm annoyed about Ruby on Rails? If like Amazon, like he's not a programmer, so it's like he can't necessarily relate to that as much. And yeah, I have my own podcast. That feels like a little bit too, like, into myself already. So I feel like encouraged. Like, oh, I got to be a good host. So.
I guess most of them I talk about. But okay, so I'm at home right now, like with our parents, and the only kind of place in our house where our parents like don't really go is our basement. Which would be great for me to go and do work, because sometimes I want to like do work or hang out by myself. Way too many spiders down there. And it's winter. The spiders are supposed to come out in the summer, right? But there's spiders just all over the place. Well, not literally, but like every time you go down there, you see 5 spiders.
I feel like you just traded that, like silverfish for spiders, because wasn't that what you had in California? It was tons of silverfish?
Not tons. Not in my dorm I live in now, but in my old dorm I did have.
I always thought those were centipedes, by the way, until you mentioned that they were silverfish. And I was like, what the hell is a silverfish? I'd never heard of that before. And it's like, oh, that's what that is.
Oh my gosh, in this room I used to live in, like last year I lived in this dorm, and I used to get spiders a lot, and I thought that they were coming in through my window. So I taped up my window, like everything. I'm pretty sure there was like a hole in the corner of my carpet where like the carpet didn't quite meet, and that's where the spiders came from. And so I ended up I put a piece of tape over it, and I never saw a spider again.
I've always wondered that, like, if you could somehow track where like insects came from. I don't know how you would do that. Like I thought about it before, like, you know what, I'm just gonna follow the spider. What are you doing? You know? I feel like that might be a horror story and be like they're crawling out of the vents or something. And that'd be terrifying. But it'd also be like, I bet it's not that hard to like actually bug proof your home. You know, or just learn like, oh, they come out of like the fireplace.
Well,
like, that's the thing.
I think like silverfish like damp places, which I lived on like the first floor, and I don't know, like, but it's kind of nice about California. There's not so many bugs out there, really. I'm allergic to something out there though, so I always get like
the smoke.
Well,
might be that, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So.
I can't say that. Like I never get bugs in here. Maybe like an occasional spider. That's pretty nice.
I feel like at mom and dad's house, there's so many bugs just because like I said, like the basement, like they don't go down there. So it's probably like it's probably the same amount of spiders that have always been down there. It's just now they're more bold.
More bold.
Go out.
Yeah, well, spiders are all dark, so they don't like stick in corners. They just like do whatever.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there's bugs for them to eat down there.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Like,
well, you know what's interesting is it's like 5 different spiders, but they're all different. Like they're not the same kind of spider.
Yeah, so it's like where they come from. Like, they obviously aren't like a colony.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you find other spiders? Like that, I don't know. It just seems weird to me. Like, how do spiders like mate?
I don't know.
Do they mate or do they like? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to even know anything about spiders.
So I don't know.
That's one of my least favorite things on Reddit is when people just post a picture of a spider and then you like scroll down and it's like spider. That should be NSF.
You want to scroll down and be like, hey, spider one dragon. There we go. That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
So.
I'm telling you, when you play them,
I'll play it. I'll let you know.
Take a look.
I'll get Jamie's opinion.
I mean, they aren't wearing shirts, so they're pretty muscular. Just saying.
Just saying. I don't know what else is up with me. I've been doing a ton of like trying to do programming and stuff lately. I really want to do a big project. I've just been debating what to do with. Like I liked learning Ruby on Rails and pretty much done with that. But I always feel like it feels so for like someone who works for a company that makes lots and lots of different websites. Yeah. You're doing the same thing over and over. I'm having this debate, like, should I learn a different language? Like, I have such a fear of, like, committing to a project for a language. Because I want to be like, yeah, I've supported this a year. You just did it in the wrong language. So you lost all that time supporting it, much less, like, learning the language when you could have been getting better at something else.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like I'm trying to, like, pick up right now and stuff. But I'm hoping after this, also, as a project, I wanted to film some live-action stuff while you're in town, at least one thing. You just kind of get a feel for it. Just do a simple draft. It's really not much, and I feel like it always sucks when I want to do a project like that because it's always like comes on a bad day where it's like we have to do it today. It's dark out. I'm gonna do our best to like light it. You know, I still didn't solve the issue of how I'm gonna record sound, and we're recording it basically in like 10 minutes, and just like it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Yeah. But I'm just hoping to like throw something together and try to edit it to be something worthwhile, but. We'll see. I would like to do more like that. I feel like that'd be a fun project. Maybe like once a month do something like that. Or just kind of collect them, write some little scripts, and then put them out there when people are around. Especially like I'm hoping to get them out of the way now, so I can do better ones when it's summer. Because the winters like suck so much like doing stuff and like podcasting. Like I definitely noticed like I cannot wake up without the sun. Like I wake up at like 6 a.m. during the summer and I don't mind it at all. Now it's like 7:30. It's like I cannot get out of bed. Yeah. And it's just like. I don't know why. So, it's tough. So, but Ellie, I think we're pretty much good at time.
All right.
I don't want to keep grilling you on all your like schoolwork, but I think it was a good podcast. Yeah. So hopefully, I would love it if we get another one in before you take off. What time will we be back? Christmas?
Yeah, I'll be back around Christmas.
Christmas. Don't you do like some weird like division, like you don't do quarters at your school, right?
No, I do quarters, but they count summer as a quarter, so I only go 3 quarters out of a year. But it is technically a quarter system.
Okay. So that's why
what they call it. They call it a quarter system.
Quarter system. I thought there was one point they called it trimesters or something.
No.
That was someone else describing it to me. I don't know.
Yeah. It's essentially a trimester, but they just, Okay. But yeah, so my quarters are 10 weeks long instead of like a 15-week semester.
Okay. Well, I'll look forward to it. I want to do more stuff. I would love to do like an actual programming project with you. I just need to find it. It's like that. I just need a good idea where it's like, I want to make something, but I want to make something that has like some actual value to it. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be some like $1 million idea, but I want something like like solar charts. Like I use it. It's neat. Yeah. You know. So I'll try and think of that. Hopefully we'll do some more live action stuff too. Yeah. So anyway, I'm Grant. I've been joined by.
I'm Ellie.
This is Digression Bar 30. We'll be at 31. 31. Yeah. I'm not used to this because we just recorded that last night. I'll be back again in 2 weeks. Bye.